If we think about how GIS can be used for analysis, two of the most basic things that it can do is it can measure the length of lines and it can measure the areas of polygons. And of course this is done all the time. It's just one of the basic functions of GIS. A couple of things to be aware of though. When you're measuring the length of lines, GIS approximates a curved line by a lot of short line segments, such as shown here in the black line here. Because the actual shape of the line might be more like this curved red line here, the actual length is always going to be just a touch longer than the length we might measure with GIS. Of course, the more points we put in here to better approximate the red line, the closer it would be to that value. But because we're always taking a series of slight shortcuts by including short straight line segments, the length is always going to be just a little bit less. Another thing to consider with length is that it's measuring a length along a map, a flat two-dimensional map. And if we're measuring on the map from here to here, we might just measure this distance M1 here. However, if we're really going up a hill, down that hill, and then back up over a higher, pointier hill over here, we're actually also moving in the Z direction here. This is kind of looking at it from the side. So we're also moving in the Z direction here. And that would actually mean that we were traveling a greater distance. We don't measure that Z direction when we just measure a length on a map because unless we build a fully three-dimensional GIS. But in general, GIS measures a two-dimensional distance, which is how much you've changed in the X and Y coordinates, and it's not taking into account how much you've gone up and down. With the area, once again, we have to remember that we're using straight line segments to approximate the area, but in this case, the area may be bigger or maybe a touch smaller than the actual area, the area that we measure in GIS. That just depends on where it's concave and where it's convex and where the overlaps are. But it's not like the line distance. It's going to be slightly different, but it could be in either direction in that case.